Well, the Washington Commanders did. They have fired defensive coordinator Jack Del Rio and defensive backs coach Brent Wieselmeyer. So I'll talk about that in today's video and talk about the rest of the season with Ron Rivera. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button and the notification bell as well so you never miss a video. Okay, so they actually did something. I wasn't honestly expecting anything to happen. I didn't think Ron Rivera was going to get fired, and it looks like officially he's going to be here for the rest of the season, which, I guess it doesn't really, make a big difference if he's here or not. I just don't want to see him on the sideline. I don't want to hear him on the, press conferences, but it is what it is. That's going to be the case for the rest of the season. But they do make a change. They fire defensive coordinator Jack Del Rio and Brent Wieselmeyer, the defensive backs coach who, came in for Chris Harris, who was a really good DB coach for us the last few years. But a little too late. I mean, at this point in the season, what does firing Jack Del Rio really do? It really does nothing. They're done. Like, the season's over, and I guess I'd rather them make the move than not. But this should have been, this move should have been made earlier on in the year when Del Rio wasn't making adjustments, or when he had Emmanuel Forbes lined up against A.J. Brown the entire game, and Emmanuel Forbes was getting cooked, and he still was putting him out there. That was just mind-boggling to me, and you still had him out there when the week before you barely were playing Emmanuel Forbes. So why not just not play him that week against A.J. Brown, especially after you see him struggle? Like, I'm not saying take him out the whole game, but like, you don't need to have him, in all the snaps, especially when he's matched up against A.J. Brown. And that's just one of the many mistakes Del Rio made, and just not creative enough, and obviously did not get enough out of this defense. I mean, obviously the players have to step up as well, and they haven't been as good as I thought they would have, but a lot of it is on the defensive coordinator as well. I mean, going into the season, I thought this defense was going to be really good, and they have been really bad. They had a lot of talent going into the season. Montez Sweat, Jonathan Allen, Daron Payne, Chase Young, first-round pick Jamin Davis, first-round pick Emmanuel Forbes, Cameron Curl, Derek Forrest, and that talent really turned into nothing. And I think a lot of that has to do with Del Rio. Some of that has to do with Ron Rivera, and some of that has to do with the players as well. But they definitely regressed big time. And yeah, Ron Rivera said he's going to be calling he's going to be calling the plays for the rest of the season on defense. So that'll be a little bit of a shakeup. We talked about this could have happened earlier in the year, and people were like, "Oh, who's going to call the defensive plays?" Well, Ron Rivera, he's a defensive-minded head coach. He can call the plays as well. And this is the statement from Josh Harris. He said, "This morning I spoke with Coach Rivera, and he recommended that the team make changes at defensive coordinator and defensive backs coach. I accepted those recommendations and wanted to thank Josh and Brent for their contributions to the Commanders. We wish them and their families well moving forward." And he talks about, a bunch of stuff, feeling disappointed. As Coach Rivera and I have discussed, all our energy for the remainder of the season will be focused on playing better, more consistent football, and developing our players. So really nothing crazy. Josh, it looks like from those, words that Harris wrote, that Ron Rivera will not be gone during this season. He might be gone at the end of the season. He probably will be gone at the end of the season. But right now, he's going to remain the head coach. And I don't know, some people think that Josh Harris is the one that kind of was like, okay, Rivera, we need to make some changes. Let's fire Del Rio, because they don't really think Rivera would do something like that. And I kind of get that point too, just because Rivera seems so checked out. You watch the press conferences, he just seems like he's so done with this. He's so done with this. So I don't know why he would go out of his way, make even more drama, fire Del Rio, and then also put more on his plate with calling defensive plays. I think that's probably something that, came from Josh Harris, but also definitely could have been from Rivera as well. You never know with Rivera, but it is a change. Should have been made earlier, but I'm at least happy that they did something. And I'm interested to see how the defense looks with Rivera, because again, obviously Rivera is going to be gone. Probably most of the coaching staff, if not all the coaching staff, is going to be gone. The front office is going to be gone. But these players, a lot of these players are still going to be here. So we need to see who's good and who's not. And if it was a coaching issue with Del Rio in terms of how bad the defense was, hopefully it was. And hopefully the rest of the season, the defense plays a little bit better. And some of these players, you know, like that haven't been playing well start to play a little bit better. So we can feel a little bit better about this team going into the offseason. Because right now on defense, like there's not many, you know, good players on this defense. Or at least there haven't been many players that have been playing good. Like Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne, they're getting paid a lot, but they haven't been playing well. And yeah, I mean, not many players that you can count on this defense that are studs. And going into the season, I thought there would be a lot more than there have been. But yeah, you know, there's nothing much else to say. Del Rio is gone, and you know, he was really up and down, had some good seasons here, had some really bad seasons. I really never liked the scheme, and yeah, it's just a lot of things with Del Rio, and obviously he definitely had a say in some of the players they got. I know he really liked Forbes, you know, probably liked William Jackson III as well. That never meshed, and some, you know, adjustments that they could have made earlier. Like we were all talking about, Landon Collins should have been playing linebacker earlier, and that took him way too long to adjust, and by that time they're losing games. And, you know, Cam Curl early on in, you know, the Rivera era wasn't playing a lot. Or in the second year when they brought, you know, Landon Collins came back. And that was just a questionable decision. And obviously when he played, they were playing much better. And, yeah, the scheme as well. It just a lot of things with Del Rio, playing a lot of, you know, the corners back a bunch off and letting these, you know, teams get 5, 6, 7, 8 yards easily, like against the Eagles when they're, you know, it's like 3rd and 17 in overtime, and it was going to be a really long field goal, and they just give them 7, 8 free yards. Del Rio does. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. But he's gone, and at least they made a change. But at this point, guys, like I'm not excited. Like it's not going to make a huge difference. All the changes that will make me excited will be after this season. When Rivera's gone, the front office is gone, and they just have a totally new look to this team. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and peace.